what do we want to do as moms for our children? We want to provide them with family. We want to provide them with stability. We want them to have love. And we just dream so much for our children. Birth moms do as well. There's not a difference there. To have a child that is taken from you because of past behaviors or addiction or whatever it may be can be devastating. But when you're educated about adoption, and it empowers you to have that as an option, to be able to make a choice of a family, to be able to meet that family, to be able to feel, oh my goodness, real emotions and trust for a family, and then to be able to have your baby and to know that your baby is going with that family.
Welcome back to the Family Building Podcast, and we are joined again by Michelle Dettman, who's been doing birth mother and expectant mother support services now for over 3 decades. In the last podcast, we talked about some of those stories and some of the things that she's been called to do, and really loving people that are in broken places. And without her, we would not seen the success in the adoptions that we've seen over the years. So, Michelle, welcome back. We love you, and we look forward to speaking to you more.
Thank you, Ted. Thanks for having me. Love you guys too.
Well, Michelle, tell us the qualities that you've seen, the qualities that have been worked in your heart over the last 3 decades that you've been doing this. What if somebody would want to do this? What qualities would you want to see in them so that they could have the lasting power and the loving power that you have?
This is definitely a calling. And so I would say that the first place would be that in this position, there's no place for judgment, because you're dealing with women, you're dealing with individuals that are broken oftentimes. And so if they're feeling any sort of judgment from you, there's no trust that can be built there. And so much trust needs to be as part of this relationship. I would say a prayer warrior, somebody who there's nothing easy about adoption. There's nothing easy about adoption. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's miraculous, but it's so hard. It's so difficult for everybody who's involved, the adoptive family, the birth parents. There's a lot of emotion that's going on. And so being able to be level emotionally for birth parents is important, to be supportive, to be strong, to be firm, but most of all, to show them the love that the Lord can exude through you, because there's no love that is more real than that. You can't fake that.
You know, Michelle, I want to butt in there, and you mentioned the word level, be level. If you're for the listening audience, you hear the level of Michelle's voice right now. We have listened to her, or we have watched Michelle work with women that are angry. They are overdosing. They're high. They're relapsing. They're homeless. They're angry. They're abused. They've been neglected, abandoned. They are angry at the system, angry at the world, angry at God. And this is how Michelle always speaks to them, with this soft, kind spirit. So I would say that is a really great first quality of someone that is called to do this work, is that, all that stuff just sort of like rolls off your back.
Yeah.
You just don't take it, but just let it pass by. You're still there to love them. That's a great quality in you, Michelle. I want to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ted. I think my kids call that. You just can't, you have to be, have a tough second skin sometimes and not be sensitive, because I think hurt people strike out to hurt others. And so, but it's that consistency and you standing firm when in those situations that prove that you are going to be faithful t- to them throughout the process.
Unoffendable.
Yeah. Yeah. And not
I
that
don't
you're
see you get
not that
offended.
you're a doormat that can be can be walked all over.
Right.
That's not it. But I think that they have to be feel free to be able to be who they are and be able to speak the way that they do and they need to during those tough times. And have somebody have a level of understanding of where they're coming from. So to be able to look at the whole picture, not just be in that moment with them. Um, so
How about women? And if you're called to this, if you're an overcomer, if you're a more than a conqueror,
yeah,
if you have a limp in your life, as Jacob once did, who wrestled with God, like he had a limp after that.
yeah.
Um, have you found that to be an essential quality that you have overcome, maybe overcome addiction in your life, maybe overcome abuse? Does that
Hmm.
make you a more effective coach because you can relate to the pain that the expectant or the birth mother is or has gone through?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I think the fact that I think life experience just gives you legitimacy in this type of role. And I have not had addiction issues, as far as drinking or on drugs, but I mean, I certainly understand, what addiction is about. So I've tried to educate myself in those areas. And boy, oh my goodness, what a wow, that's what a difficult position to be in, especially when you're pregnant. Yes, but I also have been in toxic relationships. I had, in my own pregnancy with my first daughter, I was in a physically and emotionally abusive relationship. So to be able to, I'm so thankful that the Lord just plucked me out of that situation. But so many of these women, they don't know how to get out. They don't see this has been a cycle for them. So part of our coaching is to help stop that cycle of toxicity. Um, so yes,
Is it helpful during the adoption process? You've got counsel. Many times you and I both believe ethically the birth mother should have their own attorney, if at all possible, if she will submit and agree and allow herself to be represented. You've got an adoption agency. Um, you've got some other services that you're working on. Have you found that to be helpful um, during the adoption process?
yes, yes, because this is not about taking advantage of somebody who is in a less than situation. This is not about looking for desperate women and trying to take their babies from them, or what they would term legally kidnap. No, these are women who are looking for the best situation for their child. They dream of their child having stability and having two parents and having safety and having love and being able to do ballet or baseball or join whatever team and travel and do these things that she cannot provide for them. And so, um, yes, it's the best thing for her, for any woman that is in this position to have the right counsel beside her, for her to be able to speak to an attorney, to be able to speak to a counselor, to have a coach, to have an agency, that is representing her well. So all of those things.
We call them wraparound services, that
Yes.
this is an opportunity where she can kind of get that wraparound type services, and it doesn't cost her anything, the adoption process, correct? She didn't they're
No.
not paying you. Those are expenses being paid by the adoptive parent. So this
Yes.
is a yeah.
Yes, there's no charge. Sorry to cut you off there, Ted. There's no charge to any birth mom. I mean, these services are all no cost to her. We're truly just here at those wraparound services to be able to help her.
How important is it, Michelle, to understand the perspective of the adoptive parents and work as a liaison between what could be a very high crisis situation, and then their desire to adopt that child.
Yeah. I think there is, oh my goodness. And I will tell you this, that another full circle moment in my life is after I married my husband. And um, we ended up having infertility issues. And I had many, many pregnancy losses. And so we were blessed through the adoption of my second daughter. And um, so being able to come alongside adoptive families and have an understanding of where they're coming from, I think is the Lord has just allowed me to be able to experience that so I can understand their emotions and what they're feeling. But really in this role, I think that so often adoptive families, they don't know because they haven't experienced what
Right.
it's like to walk journeys with a birth mom. So to have somebody there to be able to share with them about their birth mom, help them to be able to build a relationship with their birth mom. Yes, it's an important part, and you want that to be part of any adoption journey.
So you're coaching the adoptive parents as well as the birth parent or parents,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
And are you
definitely.
available to coach the adopting parents in the future too, if they would have a question or they wanted to reach out?
Absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. Um, I- yes, all of the above. And now through I've been in in this field for so many years. I also coach adoptees, so they can come to me, and it's to be able to hear them, to listen to them, to be able to walk with them um, through things is has been an important, and it's been an amazing um, part of the growth of me as an adoption professional and the love that I have for adoptees. Having it my own daughter who's now um, in her 20s, who we adopted, um, just understanding, oh my goodness, the feelings and the thoughts that a child who um, has been adopted, um, yes, just all of that. So
Right.
yes,
You're a licensed or trained life coach.
I am.
Is or someone that wanted to do birth mother, expectant parent coaching and adoptive parent coaching, would they need to be a certified life coach? Or tell us the benefits of that, and whether that would be required to do this work.
So I think having a calling for this, and if your heart is feeling tugged, then I would love for you to contact me. I mean, there's training that can take place. Um, that if you're desiring and you're answering this calling, um, we can definitely help you rise to that occasion. And there's training that is available and skills. Um, and you can have a support system around you as you help, build. There's a need. If the Lord is tugging at your heart right now, or if you're feeling like an inkling, okay, I need to find out more about this, then I would love to hear from you.
Yeah. So, but being a trained life coach is per se not a requirement to do this work,
No, but to have, I would say to have some training, which
for sure.
yes,
And
definitely.
that's a specific type of training that you've been doing with other women who are called to this over the years. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
You have training
Mhm.
calls and you get
Yes,
into a relationship with them, and then you're walking through their coaching experiences with um, the adopting parents and the birth parent. You're kind of
yes,
overseeing that process. Is that right?
yes. Mhm.
What is the name of your coaching service, Michelle?
Bloom Coaching Services. So you can reach me there. You can on that site, bloomcoachingservices.com.
So we'll put that link down below.
Mhm.
And we hope that maybe this is tugging at your heart. If you maybe you're an adoptive parent and maybe you're called, you really see the beauty and the depth of the gift that was given to you by receiving the gift of life, and really feel a call towards this kind of hurting generation out there that is looking for answers. Um, these women. many of them, I would say, Michelle, we guesstimate here at Family Building that about 50%, maybe even higher, number of women who are considering adoption would otherwise lose their child because of some level of dysfunction or addiction, or the fact that they've lost other children, but they would lose that child to the dependency or to foster care if they did not choose adoption. Would you
Yes.
say that statistic is accurate?
Yeah. Yes, most definitely. I think, um, yes, and I think that so many of them, these women that we deal with, they've either lost a child to the system, they've been a part of the system, um, and so, um, what adoption is. There's a difference between having a child go into the system and making an adoption plan. The difference is losing your child to the system or choosing a family for your child. And I think every woman, no matter what the circumstances of her pregnancy, being the mom to that baby, what do we want to do as moms for our children? We want to provide them with family. We want to provide them with stability. We want them to have love. And we just dream so much for our children. Birth moms do as well. There's not a difference there.
Right.
Um, to have a child that is taken from you because of past behaviors or addiction or whatever it may be um, can be devastating. But when you're given the option of adoption, when you're educated about adoption, and it empowers you to have that as an option, to be able to make a, a choice of a family, to be able to meet that family, to be able to feel, oh my goodness, I mean, real emotions and trust for a family, and then to be able to have your baby and to know that your baby is going with that family. Yeah, it's comforting, and it's yeah, so many emotions, good emotions.
Yeah. And part of that choice in the last couple minutes here, I'd like you to talk to the point of we call them post adoption contact agreements or contact after adoption agreements. But adoption has just become more and more open. And when I say open, people many times will think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like living next door to the birth mom. She's going to be always in our life. And that's not what open adoption is,
Yeah.
but it's the birth mother knowing the adopting parents, first of all, strategically placing her child in a geographical location with the types of parents who, have faith, don't have faith, she gets to choose that
She does.
family and you're walking that choice out with her. And she's
Hmm.
empowered by that choice as opposed to just losing the child to a system where if that child is placed in foster care, and they're not relatives to the birth mother, they're entitled to a confidential placement, meaning that she may never know where that child is if she loses her parental rights.
Sure.
So, this strategic placement is something that you're very involved with. But speak to the issue of openness and how effective it is to have someone like you, a life coach, as kind of an intermediary between the adopting parents and the birth mother going forward, and what role you've been able to play over the years, again, helping that birth mom navigate, helping the adoptive parents navigate that so-called post-adoption contact or
Yeah.
update.
Okay. Yeah. So open adoptions, it's not about co-parenting. Adoptive families don't need to feel that they have to constantly be looking over their shoulder because they're being watched. I think there's a curiosity that naturally comes from these women that choose adoption, um, where pictures and updates sometimes suffice. Um, Other times there can be some sort of texting or telephone calls or even um, visits at some point. What we'll do, our role is to be able to help you and help birth mom to be able to come to the decision of how you want to have a relationship, how you want to grow your relationship. Um, and there are a lot of factors that are involved there and a lot of emotions. Some birth moms are not needing a lot of contact, others are desiring more. So we're going to walk with you through your situation completely. And then after placement, we can do a whole hospital plan with you, and with birth mom, to make sure that hospital experience is, as emotionally seamless as possible. Um, there's a lot in adoption that you can't control. And so what we desire to do is to have a plan, as much of a plan for you, if we can. Um, and then afterwards, continue helping you through your relationship with that birth mom, whatever that may look like, whether it be uh, a more closed situation or a more open situation. We won't know until we get there. We won't know until you meet your birth mom. There are circumstances that you won't know about your adoption until you're actually in the situation.
We
So we
had an adoption just this last week that came together, and you weren't involved for a couple of different reasons. But the adopting parents said, let's just put the minimum, but we are absolutely confident that this is going to grow over the years. Their hearts were really in that. But rather than trying to dictate those terms, we don't know where the birth parents are going to be in 6 months. We don't know if they're going to still be together. So, yeah, life still has to unfold um, for that to really make sense at that time. So I think that you are really impactful and very successful at helping people navigate over the
yeah,
course of time. And we said in the last podcast, you're the only person I've ever met in this country, Michelle, who is a life coach for the life of the birth mother, which would mean really for the life of this child for as many years as you're given to be on this earth. But that's just a phenomenal thing. And I hope that your heart has been felt and heard by those who may listen to this, that they would engage you if they're adoptive parents, if you're called to do this, that you would engage Michelle and begin a discussion with her. We need more Michelles. I've been saying that to Michelle for 30 years. We need to duplicate you, Michelle. So I'm a number one fan of this, seeing it expanded and seeing more women being touched by your services.
yeah.
So, any closing thought or any closing invitation, Michelle?
Yes. So again, if you are looking to, if the Lord's placed on your heart, or if you're just feeling an inkling to help others, in the world of adoption, in particular, there's such a need for those who can have a heart for expectant birth moms. Please contact me. You can email me at Michelle at um, Bloom Coaching Services. So again,
Michelle at
Michelle at
Bloom
Bloom Coaching Services.
Coaching Services or
Correct.
bloomcoachingservices.com.
Correct.
All right, Michelle. Well, thank you. Bless your heart for what you do. I
Thank
hope
you,
you have
Ted.
many more years of energy. I know that you have poured your entire life into this, and I hope you will attract many more who want to give the same way that you give. And
Yes.
I want to say, you're going to be paid for your time as a coach.
Yeah.
You do get paid for this service. That's not the reason to be called to it, but you're definitely compensated for your time. Nobody's asking you to do this on a volunteer basis. So,
Right.
all right. Well, thank you, Michelle. And we hope that you guys will all join us on the next family building podcast. Take care.
Thanks, Ted.